Good afternoon. My name is Talon Brown. I'm the owner of Lioness Roofing, and I am performing a NAFE, which is the National Association of Forensic Engineers Asphalt Composition Repair Assessment. And this method is an industry standard. We're specifically going to be using only a hammer and a roof snake, and if need be, we have a putty knife, and then we have a paintbrush. And I'll explain the paintbrush here. So we have all of our shingles already documented, a lot of before pictures, so that way we can see if there's any damage to the surrounding shingles, trying to remove this one wind damaged shingle right here. If you look closely, just want to show you that nothing has been altered. We're going to be focusing on pulling out the shingle with the line across, which means we'll be having to unseal 3 lines. First, these lines for this shingle where they're sealant, and then next there's going to be 6C, 5A through 5C, and 7A through 7C, which means there's 3 shingles that are all sealed that we'll need to carefully unseal. And just wanted to show you that it's still sealed down, and you can look at the condition. You can see that they're not creased. And then we have a control square, which we'll get into, but this is for a Alberta Cannady at 596 Ivy Chase Loop in Dallas, Georgia. And today the weather is 83 degrees on the 5th of June, 2026. Right here, this stands for pull-throughs, tears, material transfer, and creasing. So we're going to be measuring that today. Now, before we begin, we're going to take this brush and we're going to brush our control square. Now this simulates rain and wind, which naturally occurs on any roof. And I like to be pretty aggressive. It is a soft bristled brush. So as you can see, there's no granules coming off. We can wipe. Nothing's coming off. Now, I told you what shingles are going to be affected. So these rows right here, you can see the chalk's coming off. Not a ton of granules are coming off. Very light. You see, nothing's really happening. I like to be pretty aggressive because this simulates the rain and the wind. Okay, so we did that. And without further ado, we're going to get into our repair assessment. So I'm going to go pretty slow here. This is the part that matters. Hopefully this thing is following me. There it goes. Let's get auto lock on there. Follow me, please. Come on. My battery's probably dying because it's not following me. Let's get a good angle then. Make sure we can see everything that we're touching today. You see no funny business happening. Perfect. Okay. So we're gonna go low and slow. It's hot. I'm already feeling the heat of the roof, but I'm gonna get down low. Okay, so was already loose. Now we need to carefully unseal these shingles right here. So we're gonna start with 6C. It feels very bound, so we're just going to go very slow with a back and forth action. Slowly and carefully release that seal. I am noticing a lot of granules coming off during this, more than just with regular wind and rain as we simulated with that paintbrush. So this actually right here, the corner bent when I was carefully doing this. So this corner is already busted. Okay. Yeah, these are, I can tell these shingles are going to get damaged. They're just not pliable. And there's a bunch of repair attempts and temporaries on this roof that have a very clear and cut story behind them. There's no, wherever there's been a temporary or an attempted repair on this roof, all the surrounding shingles are damaged. So this isn't a wear and tear debate. This is a can individual shingle replacement happen question that we're answering today. Can repairs be done? Can this roof be brought back to a pre-loss condition? So now we're going to extract these nails. And look, watch my hand. I'm going to try to go very carefully. So I'll get a little bit underneath that nail, just kind of ever slightly pop it up and get the nail out that way. My legs are getting burned. Watch my hand. That's why I'm laying down, so I don't have to lift the shingle higher than need be. There's 2 nails. Three. Okay, 4. So far we got this busted corner here. I'm definitely seeing some material transfer that will slow down and show you guys. Oh yeah. Which means it's tearing material from each shingle, which means the fiberglass is now compromised. That's not just the easy seal it back with caulking solution. That doesn't bring it back to a pre-loss condition. Okay, then we got 2 right here. One and 2. Okay. So that was 8 nails pulled out with our roof snake. You can see there's quite a few pieces of shingle debris before we pull this out. So we got a certainteed, and that's only a CT20, by the way. So what does that mean? It is a discontinued 20-year warranty 3-tab that has a different exposure and thickness and different color scheme. Right here I'm measuring on this line 4 inches 3/8, 5 inches 1/8, and 4 inches 3/4. So we're all over with the exposure lines here. This is just, yeah, wherever we have to do repairs, we have to consider the exposure. So we got 4 inches and 3/4, 5 1/8, and then we got this one right here sitting at, we'll take pictures of this so you have it, 4 inches and 3/4. So all over the place with the exposure. Let me show you guys the material transfer. So very carefully, because I don't want to mess up these shingles if I don't have to. Don't know if you could see that, but there's pieces of shingle stuck now. So just so I'm not damaging these shingles, I'm not really going to go too of a deep dive, but there is some material transfer happening. That's what these pieces are, is pieces of material that ripped up. Let's see if we can see any on this one. Right there, took a chunk out of the shingle. Not too bad. And then we got this creased corner here from just trying to unseal it carefully with our putty knife, going in a very careful back and forth motion. Okay, just make sure we have the full view of everything back. That's going to be very important for documenting. Okay, good. All right, so let's get in. This is not LKQ. What is LKQ? Like, kind, and quality. I noticed somebody brought out a pretty close, similar shingle. I would say that's a pretty good similar match. So that's the state we live in. So I'm not going to really talk about similar match because it looks like there is something. I try to get something with red in it. You can see this shingle has red just like the roof. So I'm just doing my best. Luckily, there's more than just similar match to dispute for this homeowner who clearly needs help. They have leaks inside after the roof was fixed. Leaks kept going, but after the roof was fixed, the leaks stopped, which tells me that this claim has been drug out and that the homeowner has definitely been experiencing issues after they had a storm. And then since the roof has not been properly brought back to a pre-loss condition, they've been having interior damages. So that's no good. So you can see the nails I'm pulling out right now. These are orange on purpose. I really want you to be able to see exactly where my nails are going. I'm going to be installing them where the manufacturer's installation requirement, the nail line is for each shingle. So that's where we're going to be putting it with the roof snake. And I cannot use the same holes for the nails that we pulled out. I can't use the same nails. So I just need 2 more. There we go. So we're going to be putting back 8 nails, and these are 1 1/4 inch, just like the existing nails that we pulled out. All right. And how we're going to do that is very carefully again. So we load up our roof knife, just like that, our roof snake, just like that, and very carefully I'm gonna find where my first nail needs to go, right here. Okay, first nail is in. Right there, that's the line. And that one got skewed. That's the tricky thing with a roof snake. Sometimes those nails get a mind of their own. It's not parallel to the plane of the roof. That time it did it. Good job. Okay. Skewed a little bit, no big deal. Just fix it. All right, 4 in, and these shingles are creasing like madness. All the way up. There we go. Going right here. Skewed. Yay. All right. Take our brush. So let's do a real quick look-see here. Here's our control square. We'll do it not as hard this time. Looks the same. Now let's go to these shingles here. Not as hard. Lots of granules. There's a ton of granules here. It's really slippery. And why is there a ton of granules? Because these are broken and creased shingles. Look at that. I mean, that's pretty obviously broken. There's no getting around that. So we have 3 shingles that have been creased. And if we're going to talk about tabs, then we have 7 tabs, which are creased now. Material transfer was also on everything. And then we have, luckily, no tears. And then pull-throughs was minimal because of how careful we were. But there's no way to repair this roof without causing further damage. Individual shingle repair cannot be performed, and there's a history that proves that pretty clearly. Now, if State Farm disagrees with this industry standard assessment and with the tools that were used, which also are industry standard, look at that, then we invite them to come out here and perform their own assessment. This tells you right here that factually this roof cannot be repaired.